Hey everyone, this is Thyworm and today I want to talk about skill animations in Last Epoch, so you get a better understanding of the upcoming changes. Enjoying Last Epoch videos? Consider subscribing. About a week ago, the developers from 11th Hour Games put up a new dev blog with some interesting stuff. I always enjoy these behind the scenes updates because it gives insight in game concepts that normally are not available to me, and I think that's true for many people. This time the dev blog is about skill animations. Let me explain a bit about the three different phases in skill animations before we get to the conclusion. After all, how does this matter to you? The first phase is called the anticipation. It is the state of anticipating something, according to the dictionary. Not extremely helpful. Synonyms would be expectation or prediction. It's pretty clear at least that from a linguistic perspective there is something that will happen next and you are anticipating that. Similarly, in Last Epoch skill animations, the anticipation is the part of the animation that occurs before the skill takes effect. When looking at your own character, this may not be super useful. When looking at enemies, the anticipation is essential to your survival. It is the giant scorpion raising its tail before slamming it to the ground, the void-fused earth raising his hands above his head before slamming them down on you, or the chimera looking up in the sky before releasing the deadly death screech. I think it's also fair to consider casting time part of the anticipation, as you are usually casting in an animated manner, not being allowed to move. Skills with instant casting time like Ice Ward don't really have an anticipation phase. If they do, it is extremely short. The second phase is called the impact. The word impact means many things, but here the meaning could be seen as a marked effect or influence. The impact in Last Epoch skill animations is the moment that the anticipation ends and the skill actually starts. It is the moment the chimera starts channeling the death screech, and hopefully you're not around. From a scientific perspective, the impact is in a very small time frame, because it is just the start of the skill and nothing else. It is a small transition state to the third and final phase, the follow-through. The follow-through is nothing but the continuation of the skill effect. It is the fireball traveling across the screen. It is your shield bouncing off enemies with shield throw. It is the death screech that is continually channeled until the chimera stops doing this. The follow-through, however, also has a second component, which has to do with the characters that are using skills, because in order to continue performing other actions you should return to your original state. Otherwise, movement and animations would start to look very weird if you could just start moving from any moment in time. Now that you understand the phases a bit better, let's take a look at how this impacts the upcoming changes in patch 0.7.6. Some skills will have a reduced anticipation length and a longer follow-through. The impact therefore occurs sooner, but the total animation time remains the same. It should lead to skills feeling more responsive because you see their effects occurring sooner. The devs are also tweaking the follow-through period, allowing you to partially skip it. This would allow your character to start moving before the entire follow-through ends. This again should lead to a more responsive character. The less time you spend being frozen in place or being animation locked, the better a game feels to play. This is a big issue that Walton has, for example. For all the pretty looks, they suffer from animation locking, which completely ruins the flow of combat. That is exactly what animation locking does. It messes up the flow and rhythm of the game. This is why Path of Exile feels smooth and fast on the other hand, because they got this topic tackled and animations are smooth and slick. The third and final tweak on animations has to do with what the developers call ability time. It is basically the cooldown timer on a skill. It dictates how long you must wait before using another skill. In some cases the ability time is reduced, once again allowing for more responsive characters and skills because you spend less time doing nothing. I really like these skills and changes. I feel that global cooldown timers or specific skill cooldown timers should be limited as much as possible. I would like as much freedom as possible and as few restrictions as possible on skill casting. That is, restrictions when it comes to cooldown timers. There should be restrictions, of course, because otherwise there are hardly any ways to balance skills. But I would suggest those restrictions have to do with resources, like mana. By shifting the restrictions more to available resources, you open up possibilities for more building variety. And I think that is always a smart decision, because then people with nifty builds may find a way to get as much value as possible from using certain skills without being limited by internal skill cooldowns or skill animations. I will link the entire article in the description below. At the bottom you can find all the skills that will be impacted by this upcoming change. I personally can't wait to play another playthrough in 0.7.6. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's all I currently have on Last Epoch skill animations. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. I will see you soon. Bye bye.